So let's look at weaponizing the scissor sweep.
I am the last one to die.
What's going on, Slenderman? We're going to be looking at this old video, Craig Jones versus American Jiu-Jitsu. He went over to Legion American Jiu-Jitsu, which is Kenyon Cornelius's gym, and he did like a seminar or something there. And he did like almost an hour of footage, or 30 minutes of footage of him rolling with the people afterwards. And he was just flat out stunting on people. I have several takes that I want to pull out from that. It's going to be like several quick little videos of cool techniques that we can pull out of it, or concepts we can pull out of it. So the first one we're going to look at is weaponizing the scissor sweep. This is there a lot more than we think about. Anytime we can get a post on the outside, or a block on the outside of a person's like either knee or ankle, kind of depending on where their weight is, and then we can have our knee shield kind of in place and up above or at their hips, where we can control their hips good with it, and then we can get a hold of a hand. As long as we can bring their base forward away from, like, they can't still have their base and their mass over their feet or their knees. We got to bring it forward some. So as long as we can get a grip and we're able to bring that forward some, we can then do the scissor motion and attack that. And it's from anywhere. A lot of people think about the scissors, you know, when you're showing it as white belt, and you're you only think about it as like when the guy's on his knees trying to pass your guard, or he's on his knees and you have him in some kind of close guard or whatever. But scissor sweep is definitely there throughout the guard passing process. As long as you have those things going on, you need to be able to do a block on the outside, have some kind of connection to their hips, hips or above, and then you have to be able to bring their mass like forward some. You can see here this guy's weight is coming forward, but the more the better, and we need to get a grip on them. So usually when they're passing, they're going to be reaching out and posting in some fashion, or addressing your knee shield leg in some fashion, and that's usually going to offer you the grip that you want. So you can see right here, he snatched the grip. That is how you want to grab it. Pushing and then pulling while you sweep. You got to bring them forward while you activate the scissor motion. If that weight's not coming forward off their heels, or off their, where the weight's still over their knees or over their feet, you're going to not have any success with it. You can see here, this guy kind of sits down. His weight is like right on top of his ankles, like over him. We're not going to be able to scissor sweep him because there's just going to be too much friction here to get underneath with his connection to the floor. We got to bring him forward some. Boom. Now, Craig didn't make any attempt to follow him at all. But normally, as soon as you get that kick and you land that top leg, you want to start driving that hip forward and over their mass. And then you start to build your height up, and then you can easily transition into mount, or some kind of top position. So we're going to look at another one. All right. So once again, we're going to have the same thing. This guy steps inside, so the leg's on the outside on his own. We've got our knee shield ready in place. He squats down. A lot of his weight. It's kind of a good example of what happens when you don't really pull him forward. This guy's a smaller guy, so Craig still gets away with this sweep. But you'll see the torque that ends up hitting on his foot here. Also want to point out, like, Craig's turned on his side when he does this, so that his leg is flat and as low to the mat as possible. You don't want it on the mat when you hit the sweep, because you don't want extra friction, but you want it as close as possible so that you're undermining their base as much as possible, right? But watch what kind of happens here, because this guy's weight is still kind of back over. You're going to get a higher, if you, the more back they are and their weight's back over their base, if you still hit the sweep, it will be higher amplitude because the break and the release of the friction on the ground will add to the amplitude of the sweep itself. It almost becomes a throw. I think that Craig was kind of doing that on purpose. He wasn't pulling them forward too much on purpose because he wanted it to be showy and high amplitude. So anyway, also watch what happens to this foot in this configuration. He hits the same thing. He catches them reaching under the leg too, which makes it even more effective. But did you see how the foot got totally like hooked? It was like a heel hook effect almost. If this guy's knee was sore the next day, that's why. But Craig stays in this guard here. He does something really cool. He just leaves his legs across, and as this guy starts to build, he turks this inside leg with his outside leg, or his bottom leg, we could say. And then he uses this kind of push-pull leverage and then a reach to the guy's far shoulder. We'll see that. He'll come around, he'll reach and grab here. He uses that to build his own hip height and then build his own base up high. And once he does that, he actually turns it into a back take because he's got this hooked, this Turk, and then this inside leg that's able to create like this push-pull leverage. And it's able to lift him, the opponent's hips up off the mat and expose the back. So you'll see it's pretty cool. Builds his height, holds that shoulder still. Now he builds his height up again, nice and high. Pushes himself back over him, and he gets this push-pull effect to get under. Now he reaches for the far hip, and now he just rolls all the way through and exposes the back. Easy money. There he goes. He steps inside. We got inside, outside, leverage, get the arm, pull him over. Tuck the leg, push-pull, grab the shoulder, build height, turn over, grab the opposite hip, roll him through, back take. So there we go. The scissor sweep is everywhere. Use it, weaponize it. Slender Man out.